Hello, it's Not Bad Cat here on April 30th, 2022 with your weekly Rimworld mod updates and uploads. There's a collection of mods here today that are sure to change your strategy in combat, plus a few mods that'll help you survive a little bit better. Let's dive in. Last week I covered Unofficial Vanilla Outposts Expanded Ranch by PillowKakes, and this week the mod was entirely reworked since many of you wanted to send whatever animal you have to the outpost, not just farm animals. But now this means that in order to get any resources, you need to have a male and female of that animal at the outpost to reproduce. Their young will need to be raised until a threshold is hit where the older animals are culled and their meat, leather, and extra materials like elephant tusks or thrumblehearts are delivered to you. And if you want to add animals that don't graze, such as predators, you'll have to look in the settings. Is your mods list bloated with a bunch that add new fabrics, leathers, rocks, metals, or wood? Compare them all at once with Mlie's stuff list continued. Compare their armor protection, insulation, damage, beauty, HP, flammability, and market value. You can see how much you have of each in your stockpiles, and Mlie has added color coding to know what is above or below the baseline. 123 Personalities by Hahkethomemah has a little add-on mod called Personalities 16 Personalities. The Myers-Briggs personality test is super well known and describes an individual with a 4-letter code. You can be more extroverted or introverted, gain information through sensing or intuition, base decisions on thinking or feeling, or are more judging or perceiving of the outside world. You could be ISTP, ENFJ, or any combination of those letters. Knowing the letters, you can quickly figure out how your pawn behaves. Do you know your personality type? Mine happens to be INTJ. When Mechanoids take residence on your map and they're a little frightening, a good way to avoid interacting with them is to restrict your colonists to a zone. Or perhaps you have a zone that is inside the safe walls of your base, but when a pawn wants to repair something, they may stand outside of that zone, which can be on the wrong side of the wall. Repair in the Zone by Kathanon forces pawns to stay inside that zone to repair, unless there's no other available space. Combat Drones by MrKociak lets you attach mini drones to your colonists. These guns will be able to fire on targets independently from your colonists, just like a mobile turret. The terrifying thing is that these are implants, not Imperial, but transhumanist pawns will like it. Currently, a pawn has 4 slots for drones. Small drones take up 1 slot, a medium drone takes up 2, and a large drone takes up all 4. Right now there's only 3 drones available and none of them are large. Any drones based on a weapon will have an equivalent to a normal quality one, but they do have doubled cooldown. It's an early version of this mod, so expect to see new updates in the future. Flanking Bonus by SK adds bonus damage and hit chance against pawns when firing from their side or back. By default, attacks from the sides will have a 10% increase in damage, and from the back, 25%. You really don't want to be surrounded, since both you and your enemies will have this advantage. You can change each in this mod settings, as well as disable any calculations that might affect your performance. Try to design your defenses to have the best chance of seeing an enemy's backside and minimize your own. N7 Huntsman has updated Combat Extended to 4.6, Murder Loves Company. I still haven't played with this mod, but one of the big features I know is a welcome addition is support for Zenith's multiplayer mod. There's now support for explosive projectiles to penetrate walls, and weapons have a durability stat now for any damage they take when used to parry. There's tons of compatibility patches, bug fixes, and balance changes. If you want to see the change notes for yourself, check the GitHub link in the description below. N7 Huntsman also released Combat Extended Armors. It adds several apparel that take advantage of the new Combat Extended mechanics, such as the large backpack, ballistic goggles, poncho, or frag suit. And just like the silliness of the hot spring retexture mods, take a look in the comments to find many people asking if this mod is compatible with Combat Extended, because that is its own Rimworld meme and not the ideologian kind. One trend over the past week was the retextures of hot springs. Lots of them, 14 at least, with more and more absurd names and thumbnail images. Just as we have the "is this compatible with Combat Extended" meme, the modders had a bit of one this week too. If you're interested in exploring the ones I found, check the description below. Some are more serious, others not so much, but there's plenty of styles from futuristic to fantasy to pretty normal looking. Survivalist Mean by MightyPantherIII adds a wild and natural meme that gives you access to several precepts previously exclusive to certain memes. Enjoy having the rough living welcomed and temperature tough precepts, plus access to the production specialist role. And survivalists aren't as picky about food. New precepts, fungus tolerated and insect meat tolerated, decrease the mood debuff from -6 to -2 for eating raw, and from -3 to -1 if either are cooked. The survivalist meme requires you to have the research speed precept set to slow, very slow, extremely slow, or none. This is an especially great meme for early game if you use fluid ideology, despite the research slowdown. Reinforced Mechanoids Volume 1 by Helixien was formerly known as Halo Rimworld Heretic Mechanoids, and it adds new threats and mechanics for your next colony. These mechanoids will change your strategy. Watch out for mass-produced swarms of rangers, a zealot that snipes your pawns from far away, and the marshal that will slice and dice with their arm blades. The caretaker is a portable shield generator, the behemoth carries a massive tower shield, and the vultures repair other mechanoids in combat. Careful, new mechanoid weapons will make things even more difficult. From the reinforced Tesla coil that chains between pawns and buildings, to the reinforced charge lance and inferno cannon, these mechanoids will tear through your colony. But you can build your own drones and get ancient droids as rewards. If you have royalty DLC, you can build a weather controller or climate adjuster for yourself. Playing melee only? Create constant fog. That wraps up the mod updates and uploads for this week of April 30th, 2022. I'm Not Bad Cat, and I'll see you next week.